We all start the year with the best of intentions. We have our brand new pen spread out in front of us and a fresh new notebook that smells of rich mahogany. But every single year, the first thing to drop off of our new year, new me routine is journaling. Maybe it just feels too hard. Maybe it's boring. Maybe you've convinced yourself that you're doing it wrong. Well, Babs, I got news for you. There's no wrong when it comes to a journaling practice. Today, I'm going to share 10 different types of journaling that you could try if your current version isn't working out so well. But first, let's talk about why journaling isn't a waste of time. Because we all know that those of us with ADHD need that capital W, why. That's a weird way to word that. But you know what I mean. We all need to know why. Our ADHD has to know why we're doing something. So let's give it a reason. Honestly, the main reason is that journaling is actually really good for your overall health. It's literally been shown to lower your stress levels. Writing about your thoughts and your feelings gives your brain a chance to slow down and process all of that mental clutter that you've got going on up there. And when you do that, you can reduce your anxiety and even start to get better sleep. If you've ever laid awake at night rehashing an old argument in your head at 3 a.m, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Some perfectly curated thing with beautiful penmanship and using just the right words and getting your spelling and your grammar right, you got to start thinking about it as like your brain's recycling bin. And it's where you dump all the trash to get it out of your head. And by the way, you were right. They were wrong, and I'm sorry that you weren't able to articulate the argument as well in the moment as you have been able to in the shower since it happened. Anyway, let's talk about what journaling can do for your mood. If you allow it to, journaling can be like carrying a therapist around in your pocket, except way cheaper and more willing to be carried around in your pocket. It helps you unpack your feelings and recognize patterns and gain perspective. When you're feeling stuck, writing it all out can give you a fresh perspective, and it can make things look more orderly and just make more sense. Plus, like I keep harping on in all of these videos, physically putting a pen to paper disrupts your brain patterns, and it helps shift your focus, which is pretty powerful stuff for a Monday afternoon. And then there's what it does for your spirit. And this isn't like woo-woo stuff, unless you're into that. Journaling can help connect you with your inner voice. It's a way to figure out who you really are and what you want and what truly matters to you. Whether you're writing out your goals, reflecting on what you're grateful for, or even just venting about your day. Journaling can help you stay aligned with your values and your dreams. So you can't look at it as just another thing on your to-do list. It's a powerful tool that helps you take care of your whole self. And no, it doesn't have to be Instagram perfect or Pinterest board worthy to be effective. Now, let's find a journaling style that works for you and makes you believe, okay, you know what? This is worth it. And let's start with the OG, the classic Dear Diary type journal entry, where you pour your heart out about your crush or your asshole boss or just whatever happened to you that day or the day before, depending on what time of day you like to do your journaling. This one's really one of the easiest ones because you literally just grab a notebook and you start writing. You just pour it all out. You vomit every thought in your head onto paper. It's your space to let everything out, and no one is ever going to see it. So please don't worry about how it looks or how it reads, because this is only for you. It's just to get all of that stuff out of your head and make room for better things. And then there's bullet journaling, which is what I do. And it's like a hybrid of a journal and a planner. And for me, it's just one spot fits all messy. I get my to-do list out and I get my appointments out and I get my thoughts and feelings out. If you've been here a while, you know I don't give a crap what my bullet journal looks like. It has to be functional for me. And I like having one place where everything gets dumped and I don't have to worry about pulling out different notebooks or keeping track of what's in what book. No, it's all in there. And that's what works for me. And then we move on to gratitude journaling. This is one that you've probably heard a ton about. And everyone knows that gratitude is important, that gratitude helps your brain to focus on the good instead of the negative all the time. And it's so easy for us to focus on the negative. So doing a gratitude journal is just a way to disrupt that thinking and that pattern for yourself. This one is super easy because you can limit it to just like 3 to 5 things. And for the love of all that is holy, they should be small things when possible. that amazing cup of coffee, or I finally found an Undertaker action figure that I've been searching for a month. Just little small things. It can and should be, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for my dog. And some days things are going to go horribly and you can only find gratitude for those big things. And that's okay. None of this has to be perfect. But when you train your brain to be grateful for little things, you start to find little things to be grateful for. So it really kind of it's all about resets with me, right? It kind of resets the way your brain thinks. And if you know that night or the next morning, you're going to need to list 3 or 5 little things that you're grateful for, you're going to look out for those things. And then you start to see more positives in the world than negatives. If you're looking for something more creative, more of an opportunity to use some of that sticker washi marker hoard, you could try art journaling. Pouring your feelings out into drawings and collages and using color and space and creativity to get your emotions out on paper. It's not always about writing. You don't always have to pour your feelings out onto the page with words. You can do the same thing with art, if that's your jam. I cannot draw. I'm not a big art person. Obviously, I enjoy stickers and washi and I like color coding and making things pretty. But for me, my emotions are not so much tied to my creativity in that way. So art journaling is something that wouldn't work for me, but it could work really well for you if what I just said resonates with you. And it's so easy. Just take one of those sketchbooks that you started drawing something in, messed up and threw on a shelf so you could start a fresh one. Grab that and just get to getting. Pull some stickers out, pull your favorite markers out, your favorite pens, doodle, draw, collage, whatever floats your goat here, because it's all about what works for you. The next one I have to talk about is the bane of my journaling existence. Listen, The Artist's Way is an incredible book, and Julia Cameron has done amazing things for authors and artists and, creative people. But I feel like her idea of morning pages is why so many people abandon journaling. Because you see and you hear all these people on the internet, oh, morning pages changed my life, and it's just stream of consciousness for 3 pages. And that works really well for some people. But for other people, the idea of taking the time to sit down and hand write out 3 pages of nonsense just doesn't make sense to them. And I am one of those people. I do not have the time, the energy, or the inclination to freeball a journal like that. And like I said, it works great for some people. But for the people it doesn't work for, I think hearing how much it's supposed to work for everyone just gives them a bad taste in their mouth about journaling altogether. So they abandon the practice because they can't do morning pages. Part of why I'm making this video. There are so many more options out there that if morning pages work for you, congratulations, that's incredible. Keep doing it. If it doesn't work for you, that's fine. It doesn't work for everyone, regardless of what someone on Instagram told you. Now I want to talk about something a little more fun, a travel journal. And when I say a travel journal, you're probably immediately picturing like a memory book of all the travels you've taken. And that is certainly something you can do. If you travel a lot, having a journal where you can reflect on your trips, maybe put photographs in from places that you've been, memory keeping a trip like that could be incredible. Some of us are agoraphobic and don't leave the house. Some of us, a lot of us, I'm betting, cannot afford to take trips. We cannot afford to take time off of work to go on trips. But what we can do is imagine going on trips. Your imagination is so powerful, and you really can pretend to have gone to France. You research local restaurants that, French people actually go to that aren't tourist traps. You watch YouTube videos of being in the elevator as it goes up the Eiffel Tower. You really can imagine your way to feeling like you've taken a vacation. And I know that you might not believe me, but you can. I homeschool my son, and one of the first things that we did when we started homeschooling was in December, every week we picked a different country and we would study the culture of their Christmases, and we would look up prices for flights and restaurants, and we would budget out the trip. It was so much fun for both of us to plan the trip even though we were never going to go. And doing this in a journal and allowing your ideas to run wild and envision what it would be like to go there and what you would want to do. These things are fun. Half the fun of travel is planning the travel. And you can do that part without ever leaving your house. So if this is something that wouldn't make you too sad to do, this is another great option for a journaling practice that you could do. Another one that I wasn't too sure about mentioning this one, but I'm going to, because I think that for the right people, this is a very powerful practice. And I want to talk for just a second about shadow work journaling. I know, again, that kind of sounds a little woo-woo, but it's not. It's not about like tarot and crystals and things like that. It can be, but really, shadow work is about forcing yourself to face the parts of you that maybe you're afraid to face. It's looking at habits that you would prefer to break. It's looking at the things that you're avoiding, like difficult conversations that you're afraid to have, or people that make you uncomfortable, but you're not really sure why. And it's diving into things that trigger you and figuring out what is so triggering about those things. And listen, this one's not usually fun. Looking at the things that we're not happy about with ourselves or in our lives is never fun. But when you give yourself the opportunity to unpack it and to dive into it, it can be a relief to find out why, because then you can start to work on the things that will help you get better. So yeah, I wanted to bring it up because it's an option, and for certain people, it could be a really important practice. Let's get back to something fun. Let's talk about memory journaling. Memory journaling can be a lot like a scrapbook because, again, you can use some of your stickers and washi, and you can use photos, or you can just jot down memories. You can just, like I talked about in the decluttering video, you can take pictures of things that are important to you and write down the story of how you acquired it and what makes it special. And it's just something that, if the thing were to get lost or broken or donated because the object itself doesn't serve you anymore, when you flip back through this memory book, you have the memory contained. And it can be such a special keepsake for you, for a family member down the road. And memory journaling allows you to relive those happy moments, which boosts your mood and lowers your stress. Another option for journaling would be list journaling. And this one is kind of like the overthinker's best friend. And it's just what it says on the tin. It's a journal full of lists. That way you're certainly not worrying about grammar or penmanship because you're just scribbling down lists. You can do it every day. You can do it once a week. It can be a list of anything. It can be your to-do list. It can be a list of your favorite restaurants. It can be a list of your favorite movies. We make journaling so complicated. But any act of putting pen to paper and getting thoughts out of your head, that's journaling. And it can be as simple as a list. Your top 10 favorite flowers, your least favorite flavors of ice cream. It can be any kind of list. This is one of the easiest and honestly one of the most fun, because if you, like me, have ADHD, making a list is the most fun thing about planning and journaling in the first place. So give yourself permission to just make lists. Make them all the time. Lists of random stuff. The point of a journal is to sit with yourself for a few minutes. And it doesn't matter what part of yourself you're sitting with. So if you want to create art in your journal, if you want to work on your triggers, if you want to rehash an argument that you had 6 months ago, you can do all that. Or you can sit down with a notebook and a pen and make a list of your favorite David Bowie songs. My number one is Rebel Rebel. Shocker. In fact, that song is where I got the name Dakota Rebel. You, on the other hand, may be a fan of Dance Magic Dance, because every video needs a Labyrinth reference. And the final one I'd like to talk about in this video is dream journaling. Again, not woo-woo. I'm not asking you to break down what a blackbird in your dream means subconsciously. It's just a place for you to record what you're dreaming about, because there is a way to recognize patterns in your dream. If you are having recurring dreams, your brain really is trying to tell you something. And again, it may not be something woo-woo. If in your dream you're constantly under a bridge answering these riddles 3, there is a question your brain is trying to answer for you. It's as simple as that. It doesn't have to be deep, spiritual, pull out the crystals, light a candle kind of thing. Your brain uses sleep to work through problems. So writing down your dreams to recognize these patterns can help you work through problems that you might not even realize you're having. Personally, I keep a notebook in a rolling cart that I use as a nightstand next to my bed. And when I have dreams that I remember, because I don't always remember them. A lot of people, I think, don't always remember their dreams. But when I have a dream and I remember, I sit up, I grab the notebook and a pen and I write it down. Sometimes I never revisit it. Sometimes I do. There are no rules for journaling. If you want to make this a practice and you don't always remember your dreams, you can just write the date and write, I don't remember. And that's fine. Again, we got to stop complicating all of this. Journaling should be a fun, relaxing thing that you do for yourself. Not something you're checking off a checklist so that you can say you were productive. And I've barely touched the surface of the different types of journals there are. I just wanted to hit the biggies so that you, had permission to try something else if the traditional morning pages, Dear Diary type thing doesn't work for you. There are limitless options to how you can start a journaling practice, and there are so many benefits to doing so. So if you started this year with a journaling practice and you walked away from it, I don't blame you. But maybe try one of these other options. And if you want me to do a deeper dive on any of these, or if you want me to do a follow-up video with even more options, I'm always happy to do so. But let's start here and see what resonates and try that. And if that doesn't work, drop it like it's hot and pick a new one. You don't have to journal the same way every day. You can do all of these and just mix them up like jelly beans. Whatever works for you, works for you. And that is the point of a journaling practice. If you're still here and several of these resonated with you, you know I got you. Over in my Etsy shop, I made a daily journaling page, and it has spaces to record your dreams and to do your gratitude. And it's just tiny little sections that you can work on throughout the day. You can do it all in the morning. You can do it all at night. As always, use my code REBELPLANS to get 20% off that or anything else in my shop. Or, I don't care, just look at it, use the prompts, and write them in a notebook. But a girl's got to eat, so. And that's that. That is a quick and dirty rundown. I don't know how quick. It felt like I was talking for a really long time. So I apologize if this one ran a little long. But that is a sort of quick and dirty rundown of some different journaling options you can try if the standard ones are not working for you. Don't forget to smash all those YouTube buttons for me. Let me know in the comments if any of these did resonate with you, if you do want a deeper dive, if you would like to hear some more options in a future video, or let me know if you have a journaling practice and what works for you. Thank you for watching. I love you so much.